Hey everyone, as I mentioned in my last video, I was going to be talking about another whip, other than the Chevron of course. What we have here on the table is very special to me. This is a 10-foot Joseph Strain Indiana Jones standard stock bullwhip. Immaculate condition. I think it was made 8 to 10 years ago. I received it from Blake, and I know what you're thinking. Well, he must have had it in stock. How much did you pay for this? I didn't. I did a very well thought of trade. Now let me explain what I mean by that. So Blake came out recently with a video stating he had a bunch of Indiana Jones whips in stock for Christmas, and one of them happened to be this one here. I jokingly asked Sarah if she had any violins that she maybe wanted to give up, because those are definitely expensive. She did, however, mention that I bought one for her from a thrift store for a really cheap price, and I figured she could fix it up and we could sell it. So that's what she mentioned, and I immediately texted Blake. I was like, would you be interested in a violin for the Joseph Strain? And he said yes. And I cannot explain how excited I really was. It was definitely to a point where I was shaking, because I was like, I'm going to have a Joseph Strain whip now. That's awesome. So on her birthday, in fact, we went down to the shop, and we were starting to fix up the whip for Blake. And in the process, another lady came into the shop and had dropped off another violin. The owner bought it from her, and the owner actually gave it to us for the same price she bought it for, and that one is appraised at about $700. So he's getting two, and I got this. So the trade was not only great, it was definitely even. But anyways, I digress. So again, we have a 10-foot Joseph Strain, indie style. It was it's meant to be a standard stock or standard production, I think he calls it. So by that, it was just, I guess, Joseph based them off of the whips for Temple of Doom and Last Crusade. So it doesn't have the distinct Raiders handle, but it's still the 8-inch nail spike from the heel to the transition. I counted 12 diamonds here in the plaiting, and just immaculate detail work. This heel knot here is just symmetric all the way around. It's that rough and rugged yet nice and even. I think Blake calls it like a neat sloppy kind of style. A well plaited, or I guess not plaited, but braided wrist loop. Really thin transition out here. I mean, this is very flush with the body of the whip. And then just a perfectly even taper all the way down to the hitch. And it could use a new fall. It's a little dry. I tried to condition it, but it didn't really work too much. And of course the cracker. I think Joe makes really distinct whip crackers. It's some kind of nylon, but it's not like the really stiff ones that you see on modern day whips. It's very loose. Something relative to maybe what David Morgan would have used, or I guess they still currently use. But anyways, when I got this from Blake, he said it was about, again, 8 to 10 years ago that it was made by Joe. And just an amazing whip. If anyone who owns a Joseph Strain knows exactly what I'm talking about, his work is just tremendous. I mean, the man himself is like a machine when it comes to whips. No one knows how he does it. It's incredible work. He is retired, but him and his son still make whips that are sometimes in stock on their website, Northern Whip Co., in case anyone is wondering. But I just wanted to make this video as a thanks to Blake for the trade. I mean, that was just incredible that we went through with that. Worked out perfectly, because I've always wanted a Joseph Strain. I've cracked Kirk Brockman's 8-foot Joseph Strain and fell in love immediately. It's just, the whips themselves move like water, or practically nothing, not even like water. They just do what you want them to do. You know, once you get the whip going, really any whip should do that, but Joe's especially, they're just built so well that they will always be able to do that. And of course, thanks to Joe for just giving everyone all of his work throughout the years. I'm not exactly sure how much he was charging, nor do I know how long he was in business, but again, if anyone who was watching this clicked on this because you saw Joseph Strain whip and you happen to have one, you know the deal. You know exactly what's going on. It is after Christmas. There's a little bit of snow outside still. I cannot crack it because of that. I do not want this getting any sort of moisture. It's going to be babied so much. But eventually a video will come where I do so, and I'll have to get used to the 10-foot cracking. This is now the longest whip that I do own. So I suppose I'll get some close-ups of this whip and then conclude. So let's go ahead and do that. So here is the whip in its entirety. Just a very gorgeous piece of work. Let's start all the way down here by the wrist loop. It's a 6-strand, like all the indie whips should be. It's a little thinner than the David Morgan's back in the day, but that's quite okay. And as I mentioned too, just tremendous work on all of the knots and just, the whip overall. And again, we have a 12 count going up the handle. And ironically, it really doesn't look all that short either. I still see this as a Raiders whip. But typically Raiders does have a maybe a 14 to 15 diamond count in the handle. But I digress. And just the plaiting all the way around is just so nice. And let's get to the hitch. What I like about Joe's work too, he always purposely leaves about 1 inch from the last strand here. So all of these are about 1 inch, as well as this one. Although, because this is used, it's a little beat. You can kind of see right there. I might be clipping that. I think these are more fluid in the air if you kind of clip those. So I might do that once I replace the fall on here. Just some of the cracker work. Very well twisted. So if you can ever get your hands on a Joseph Strain Indiana Jones style whip, definitely do so. I recommend it entirely. So hopefully that close-up was okay. I tried to get as much details as I could in there, but of course there'll be a thumbnail too that you can see at the end of this video and get a better shot. But ultimately, as always, I appreciate you guys watching. Thanks again, Blake. Thank you, Joe, for all of your work throughout the years. I know a lot of people were impressed by you and are always impressed. I am just in love with this. I cannot wait to make a video to crack it. And in the meantime, and until next time, I suppose, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.